Terrific Tuesday. We are back. Happy New Year, New Year's Eve. I'm recording this a few hours before the ball drops. Holy shit. I'll try and be up. I got to work tomorrow. But what an ass kicking last night by the Lions. Holy shit. Talk about kicking somebody while they're fucking down. God damn. The Lions got that whip out. They got that whip out. St. Brown did it in the end zone. I loved it last night. Mike Kesnick loves it. I know Lions fans fired up. I'm fired up today. I want to start with this. So that game last night, I want to flip it to the Lions first off, and then I'll get to the Niners. Because the Niners got some things going on, and they got some decisions to make. So the Lions last night, the word I've always used with them is elite. Okay? I am just so taken away by how this Lions thing has gone from dog shit to top of the line. And the way they've done it, and I talked to my cousins, Mike Kesnick, and everybody else last weekend in Chicago, you build it with trench play. And a couple years ago, the Lions had a decision to make. They could have gone Jamar Chase, the sexy star, or he could have gone the kind of meat potatoes kind of offensive lineman. And what did they do? They went Penei Sewell, and they have not looked back. Penei Sewell could be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. Jamar Chase is still going to be a Hall of Fame player. We'll see how the trajectory of those careers pan out, because they're both all pros at their positions, no question about it. But as I'm watching last night with the Lions, and I'm watching the Niners, the Lions just are so much fun. They got Dan Campbell biting kneecaps. He's eye-rolling everybody. It doesn't matter. He's a culture changer. Big, presence, energy, intense, fits the city of Detroit. The Bears are trying to look for that right now. They need a guy that fits that city, that Chicago, tense, pissed, rage in them a little bit with some offensive creativity. They need some of that. They need what Detroit has. Now, it's going to depend on, next week is the big game. It's the big event, okay? You got Lions-Vikings. Vikings going into Detroit to try and avenge that loss that they had back in, I think it was week 5. Yep. Week 5 in Minnesota. Lions won by 2. So, can Minnesota rewrite their wrongs? We'll have to see. I highly doubt it. If Minnesota gets a 5 seed, that's going to change some things, because now I'm looking at it going, I don't know. It all depends on the matchup for Minnesota. Because if I'm Detroit, I got to get home field, because I got to get healthy. They've had all these guys banged up. It's like the cast of MASH, it feels like. It's just a MASH unit on their defense and lost Montgomery. And I was worried about last night going into that game going, I don't know. How many touches are they going to give Gibbs? One ankle injury, he's out. They're so run game dependent. And then everything, play action's off of that. But they can drop back too. Although the run game's very big, much a part of their offense. So I like what I'm seeing from the Lions. They're just elite, man. Their offensive line's dominant. I know Decker got beat a couple times last night by Bosa, which shout out to him. He's playing with like 10 injuries, it feels like. He's a man. He ain't a bitch. I love that. It's like dudes I think that have porn stashes, God help us, grow a beard, pussy, lather some beard oil on that motherfucker, and you'll be okay. My point is, I just am impressed with the Lions. I can't say enough. You got to cross your fingers, though, determining how this season goes. You keep Ben Johnson, because he's the key to this whole thing. They're doing all these trick plays. They're doing all this other stuff, and they have found a symmetry. Him, Goff, they have all this weaponry. Jameson Williams is coming on. He could be a little bit of a knucklehead at times, and with some stuff. But that guy's got game-breaking speed, ability. We saw it at Alabama. We saw bits of it at Ohio State. I saw old clips of him at Ohio State, balling, doing it. But him at Alabama, before he got hurt in that 2021 NFC championship game against Georgia, which Georgia ended up winning that one. I was happy for Georgia in that moment. It'd been a long time. They've been knocking on the door. It was time. So, to me, right now when I watch this, I think the Lions are for real. And they've been for real all year. It's impressive to go 8-0 on the road. So it really doesn't matter the environment, the climate, all that stuff. I'm just impressed. And I really feel like something's about to be brewing, coming apart this year with the Lions. So, great win by the Lions last night. They exacted revenge on the Niners in the NFC Championship game, which, by the way, Fred Warner could talk all the shit he wanted. Holy shit, he was doing it for the game. Fuck around. He found out, brother. They beat that ass last night, and I thought it was a game. It was back and forth, seesaw battle, 34-28, and then Lions just put the clamps on them. Goodbye, good riddance, and there you go. So, I want to flip over the Niners side because they got some interesting things to talk about this offseason. Okay? You got Brock Purdy out now. This is like a season of hell from the Niners. You got all these guys hurt, and, Purdy, we're supposed to pay him. I'm getting told we're supposed to pay him. Okay, first of all, let's not do that and say we did, okay? That's a dumb idea. I mentioned this after the Buffalo game a couple weeks ago. You cannot, in fucking right mind, pay Brock Purdy $50 million. No way, no how. I'm sorry, I've seen enough. His arm's okay. He's hurt again with his elbow, the same one he hurt in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. What are we waiting on? Like, he's a nice story. We get it. He's a good player. I'm not trying to shit on him. But it's a lot of ifs with him. If the play calling's right. If this, if this, if this, if. A lot of ifs and buts in there. Where's, like, the juice? You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel it with Brock Purdy. Like, Josh Dobbs last night, when he came in and filled in, I'm like, now Josh Dobbs is like a smart kid. He was like a mechanical engineer or some shit. He's more mobile than Brock Purdy. He's a better athlete. And he's more fluid. And he's more loose and stuff. And so I just feel like, to me, when I'm watching the Niners right now, they're in a crossroads. And I watched it on John Lynch's face last night. He's like going, what's this? What's going on? So I just feel like the Niners, this was a season from hell, but I kind of knew this was going to happen. You got Debo being a dumbass, pander to me. Look at me. I don't want to look at you, Debo. You're ugly as fuck. You're dressing weird for the fucking games, idiot. And you suck. And you pander to them, Niners, you did. You pander to Ayuk and you pander to Debo. This is what happens. You need to start investing in your offensive defensive lines. Because when you went to the Super Bowl, you had a dominant defensive line. You got one guy on the defensive line right now that's balling. That's Bosa. That's it. You got to invest in that. Now, I know Kyle Shanahan's going to sit up here and say, no, I'm good, bro. No, you're not good, Kyle. You're not good. The only reason why your offensive line gets kind of like patchworked away is because you're actually running the ball so damn well, nobody can stop it. But once people get a beat on you, you got no second gear, brother. You got none. You're a pitcher that just throws fastballs down the middle. That's it. So you got to figure something else out, because I'm watching this team right now, and they're just in disarray. I mean, they got guys hurt. This is an older roster. I said this before the year started. It's going to be an older roster. I thought they still make the playoffs, but they fall a little bit back, and they have fallen back way quicker than I thought. But the reason why is this is an old roster, old team, all this old shit. So, again, I'm not sitting here saying that the Niners are a bad team. They're not. They're still a good football team with talent. They're just making dumb decisions in games and all this other stuff. I just can't buy in. And with Purdy, listen, I like him. And I think he's got some pieces, and I like his talent. And listen, you could take him out, and I always laugh at Niner fans. Jimmy Garoppolo, I saw a stat today. He won 69% of games. 69%, not the weird position we all think about, guys. Thank you. 69. I'm funny. My point is, Niner fans want him out of town. Because he missed, what, one Super Bowl? One play in the Super Bowl? Big deal. That happens all the time. Rodgers in that one against Pittsburgh, he had guys open and they dropped the ball. So I don't know. And he's won 64%. Purdy? With this? How the fuck is this happening? There's no excuse for that. He's got everything fucking made. And you keep telling me that he's worth $50 million? I'm going to pay him a year early? Fuck out of here. I ain't doing that shit. And here's the thing. The Niners are doing, if they get Brock Purdy all that money, there's only one thing that guarantees you can't win Super Bowls. I heard this today. Paying a B quarterback A+ money. The Dallas Cowboys have done it. And the Dallas Cowboys are a prime example, folks. They paid Dak Prescott fucking early, and look what it got him. It got him in the shitter. Because they can't do anything with this roster now. How many talented players on the Eagles was hard for the Cowboys? Well, you could take the Eagles roster and put it on Dallas. None. So you have to do something in order to get this ship right. And the Niners got some decisions in the offseason. What do you do with Purdy? Because I don't know what you do. If I'm them, I'd ride it out one more year. See what you can do. Ride it out one more year. Go Last Dance style and try and win a fucking championship. But until then, you're kind of stuck with them. Now, Is this like the Colts stuck? No, but it feels like it. So, very intriguing in the offseason for the Niners. I just want to touch on that tonight. And the last thing I want to touch on, we got a big college football game tomorrow. Notre Dame, Georgia. I'm ready for it. Two iconic brands in college football. Listen, I know Brian Kelly mentioned this a couple years ago. When they got smack-dabbed and mollywopped and ramrodded by Alabama in the 2012 championship game, Brian Kelly said, we got to start recruiting from the South and getting bullies. Okay, Notre Dame, you've been a bit of a bully lately, okay? But you're going up against the biggest bully on the block in Georgia, what they have done to people for 5 years running. You got to bring your A game tomorrow. You got to bring it. And so, if you bring it tomorrow, I'm giving you a shot against Georgia, man. I really am. And I know Georgia's balling. They just haven't had a great year this year. But count me in on Notre Dame tomorrow. I cannot wait. I'll give you guys my reactions to that. I'm glad you guys joined me tonight. Terrific Tuesday. Talk to you guys soon. I got a lot more content coming out. Hit the like, subscribe, share button. And talk to you guys soon. Have a great night.